And we are rolling.
It even tells you.
Welcome, LeeAnn Star.
Hi.
How
Thanks
are
for
you?
having me
Yeah, of
on.
course. Thank you for coming. It's been really fun for me. All of my new anti-trafficking friends. We all met through the common cancer that was in the anti-trafficking world, and I just was like, I like all these girls so much. They're all so cool.
Yeah, that's
And
like the good part about it. Like the
it's really
silver
cool, right?
lining.
We
Yeah.
we reunited and united with people that we hadn't been with, and
Mhm.
it was very cool. And so
Yeah.
if you don't mind, let's start back when you were a little kid. Tell us just a little bit about where you grew up and how what your life was like, and then we'll get into some of the other things that we'll talk about with the anti-trafficking.
Okay. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I was poor growing up. My dad was like selling drugs and beating my mom and all of that, but he got better after, so he wasn't always a piece of shit. He addressed his piece of shitness and everything. But I just grew up poor, normal in the hood. I grew up in the hood, so which I'm glad that I did. I'm really glad that I grew up with the people I did in the way that I did because it makes you very street smart and have common sense, which I don't know. I don't relate to problems that my richer friends later in life had. Like, I just couldn't understand how they were so pressed about just the dumbest shit to me. So I'm glad that I grew up that way, but I don't anything else about note when I'm a kid. When I was a teenager, though, I got in trouble, not like arrested trouble, but that's probably what would have happened. I was just doing things I shouldn't have been doing and selling drugs in high school and hanging out with those murderers and things like that. So I moved to New York City when I was 16. I just moved. I told my mom I was going to my aunt's camp, and then I called her and I was like, "No, I'm in Times Square. I'm just going to stay here with my friend." She didn't believe me at first, but I did.
By
And then
yourself you went? Oh my
yeah.
gosh, at 16. Well, it is a good thing you grew up with some street smarts.
Yeah, I loved it there then. I wouldn't go right now, which I'm really mad that they messed that city up because it was so great. It was very expensive. So I had to live in New Jersey first in Bayonne, unfortunately. But Jersey City is actually where I almost was taken by someone, like kidnapped. So that was great. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I moved to California when I was like 20-ish. And then I had to come back to Pittsburgh because my dad got cancer, what we were talking about before. And then
Yeah,
I've just been here ever
ever
since. I
since.
didn't leave.
And so
Yeah.
do you have any other family there with you?
Oh yeah, in Pittsburgh. My mom, but my brother lives in Hawaii and he's in politics and things like that too. And my mom is moving there next month, so they'll be over there, but I still have aunts here and things like that.
Yeah,
So,
so are
yeah,
you gonna
most of
move
my
to
family is
Hawaii?
here. What's
Are you
that?
gonna go to Hawaii?
Maybe. I mean, I'm gonna go visit for sure, because my brother's gonna have a baby, and so my mom wanted to, like, go there, and it's basically gonna be, like, their nanny, so they don't have to get some strange person. So, I don't know, I'm gonna go. My brother said that I could, so we'll see. I haven't even been there before, so but my brother's been there for years. So I guess I'll see when I get there.
Yeah, it'll
I've
be a
never
good
been there,
adventure.
so I don't know
It'll
what
be
it's
a
like.
it'll be a good adventure. And
Yeah, for
so
sure.
ta so the next thing you already kind of, said that you were almost taken once, and then you and I met because of the Eliza Blue stuff. What got you so passionate about trafficking to the point that from what I understand from watching you on Simcast, you actually have started, working front lines trying to help
Mhm.
girls, like, directly.
Yeah, I've done that since 2011, like, directly, which it was very dangerous what I did, but I'm not, like, scared of anything. I'm not just saying that like, "Oh, I'm badass." No, I literally do not care if I die. I know that probably sounds weird to people, but, like, I will die doing shit like that because it's worth it to me because I seen it up close and I've seen the girls in it at the moment. That's why I said the whole thing with Eliza, if she actually lied about that, you have never met someone that has truly been through it then and looked in their eyes or when they're in the throes of it. Because if you can lie about something like that, you need help because it's disturbing on many levels. These people are messed up for a long time. I don't know anyone that I've talked to or helped that would just want to be in the public like that to begin with. It would take a lot of coaxing for them to want to stand up there and do and say the things that she was saying on podcasts. Like they just wouldn't. I know that they would not. So that's why if she lied about it, that's not something to get famous on. That's weird. Like, I only started talking about it on TikTok to give people tips that I've seen because I realized so many people are naive to
Hmm.
things that their kids might be involved with. So I started sharing that. But other than that, I never really said anything. Like, I don't want recognition for it. Like, I literally just want to help people so they can see different things that they use that I have seen from helping other girls, but it's not something to like brag or get famous on. And if she was lying and got those awards and stuff, how do you live with yourself? Like, I just don't understand that at all. Um, but actually seeing it happen, I used to find girls on Backpage, and I had another guy helping me that would also call because it's way more believable if a dude is calling for these girls because Backpage was like the main hub, which
I
I
was
also
just
made
gonna
a
say, like,
video.
you're talking to like my audience is like very Christian. Now they're also very up on SRA
Mhm.
and anti-trafficking, but they might not know what Backpage is. So maybe if you could just give them a rundown on what it actually is.
Well, Backpage is like Craigslist, like there's listings on there, but it was mostly known for escorts, strippers, massages, and things like that. They would post it on there. And that was like the main hub. Like you had to post on there to make money. Like that was just a given. And I made a video about this when they took Backpage down because it sounds weird, but taking that down was actually worse because a lot of times cops don't have the resources or they do not care. Like if there's a 17-year-old and their family's like, I think she might be trafficked or she's missing, sometimes they can't look into all of it because there's a lot or they won't. So Backpage was somewhere where they would post pictures. I don't know. I guess they're stupid or their faces would be blurred a lot of times, but if that's your child, you know what they look like in pictures. But even besides that, a lot of cops would set up stings from that and you had to post on there if you wanted to make money. So a lot of times that was like a victim's only hope. They had resources on there as well, but like their family would be looking for them or their
Right.
friends. So taking it down just didn't do anything. It's bigger than ever, so it didn't help it at all. I think it just took away more hope of finding people because I would find girls from there that I just thought might be underage because I met a girl because the client that we had, I was like a dancer. I did like private parties and things like that, but they would call escorts. They would call all of it. So if they came, I had to leave. Like it was the law. Like the guy running our like company was like, you can't stay with anyone that, especially if they're doing illegal stuff, like you have to leave. So if another girl would come, we would have to leave. But this girl came and I knew she was underage immediately. And I told the guy, I was like, just let her come in, like pay her. I want to talk to her because she looked so young and scared and like she did not want to be there. So she didn't talk to me really, but I knew something was wrong. So the next week I had him call me off of my work time. I wasn't working. I just had her come. I had him call her and come back over. And then she started telling me about what happened, which is something that I shared that it was her friend. She was 15 at the time.
Yeah,
Her
I think
friend
this
in
is a
high
really
school.
important story for people to hear too. So I'm glad you're telling this one again.
This is
Um,
like the first trafficking thing I made on TikTok that like had over 1 million views because I just didn't realize that parents don't understand this, that this is like women doing this and girls in high school. It was her friend in high school that basically would get her to fight with her mother. So she would come to her house and eventually she just got her to run away. But the guy that she was living with, who she said was her uncle, was not her uncle. It was her pimp. So that's how he got her in there. And then they left the state. because she was from Ohio and she was in PA. But I just knew something was wrong. And she eventually started telling me what happened. And I got money, my own money, to get her out of there. It took a couple weeks, but I was chased by people before. So that's why I said it's very dangerous. And it was probably stupid, but I just wasn't thinking about it at the time. But
Hmm.
I got her on a bus to Ohio because sometimes they don't want to contact the cops either. Like, people
Right.
don't understand that. Like, they don't want to, because sometimes cops are their clients. Like, they're scared. They don't know who's, like, they tell these girls that anyone can be involved. Like, oh, I have cops, I have judges on my side, which,
Pastors. Yeah.
knowing what we know, is probably true for a lot of it. So they don't want the cops involved, and I can't make them do that. So I just wanted to get them away. If they wanted to be away, then I would just do whatever they wanted so they would be fine with whatever. So if they didn't want to go to the cops, it's not my place to do that. I just wanted to get them out of the situation. So
Right.
people don't understand that either. I found, like, they don't want to go to the cops. Like, a lot of them don't. They don't trust them, or they were abused by them. So, and it happens way more than people think. So it's
Well,
a
and a lot of the
problem.
girls think that their handler or their pimp or whoever is their boyfriend too, and I
Mhm.
think that's, really, really it just the whole thing layers and layers of
Yeah.
messed
There's
up.
a lot of tactics they use too, like things you wouldn't even believe or think of, or just, and people fall for it. I mean, that's why I just started talking about it, because I just assume people knew these things. But if you don't come from a world like that, you wouldn't. Why would you? So that's why I'm like telling people, like, you need to watch who your fucking kids are friends with for now, because it's crazy. Like, they got them doing OnlyFans and things underage. It's just ridiculous. So
You don't have to be verified, they don't verify your age or anything for that?
they do, maybe not OnlyFans per se. I don't know how easy it is to do that, because there was like some influencer that uploaded a picture or video of herself when she was like 3 with no underwear. It was like a thing. So obviously, if that's not being flagged or
Right.
anything, I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know Pornhub had a problem with that. They really are strict now, so I don't really know how much of it is still on there, because they don't want that publicity anymore. So I know they've done a lot of things to remedy that, because I tried to upload on there a couple of months ago, and it took over 24 hours for them to approve it to even be posted.
Wow,
So,
wow.
and I'm verified on there and everything, even though I took most of my stuff down off of there, just because I've been trying to get them and other porn sites to have some better age verification for, I mean, if you're uploading, it's a given. You need to upload your ID. I don't care what privacy issue, like, that's stupid. Like, if you want to upload shit and make money, you need to put your ID on there. Like, that's, I don't understand why more of them or all of
Totally
them don't do
agree.
that. But for just looking at it, like, why can't I couldn't go look at a Playboy in a gas station
Nope.
before, like when I was
Right,
like
now you could.
13. But, like, now they can, like, see the shit, and now whenever, because I still, like, search certain things, and I'll search for victims sometimes depending on what I'm doing. Like, the porn on there now is so vile, like, it is, kids do not, I don't wanna see that. So, you need to have, like, some age verification. Like, if you wanna look at porn, put your damn credit card in. I know that's not, like, a safe, like, thing, or, like, a one thing, like a solution, but at
Right.
least it's something to, like, get on here. I mean, I've seen women having sex with dogs, and I wanted to vomit, and it's everywhere. And
Oh
this is
my
like front
gosh.
page.
I
That's
just
what I
don't
mean. It
get
keeps
it.
getting more extreme, and it's disturbing.
It
And I'm like,
has
you
to,
have
that's
to
the
have
only way
something.
that's the only way Satan works. It has
That's
to
so,
get
I just do
gradually
not
worse
understand
and
it.
worse.
I'm like, who's watching this? Why are you watching this? But they need something on there, and they just don't really do anything. Like, now I went on one today, actually, it was like X video or something, and it just says enter if, like, oh, I'm 18. Like, there was nothing else. You just push it. Like, that's not, I didn't even do that before. So they have that now, but you still just push it and you're in. So
Well, you know they can do it. They do it at
it's
banks.
stupid. It makes no sense. There's no point. I'm sure it's some legal loophole, but
Yeah.
that's stupid. Like,
I
that
did a
doesn't
little
do anything.
research when we were gonna talk about OnlyFans, the other night on Simcast, but then you left before we actually got to talking about it. I did do a little research because I was like, "I don't know anything about it at all."
Mhm.
And one of the things that fascinated me was that this is really weird how people want what they can't have.
Mhm.
And so the guy that purchased it, not the ones who found it, but the guy who purchased it started creating these, oh, what was it called? I wrote it down. These hacker of passwords, and
Uh-huh.
they were for supposedly illegal sites. And I
Hmm.
guess he actually got sued for it because, but it ended up that they didn't actually lead to illegal sites. It was
Uh,
really just clickbait.
huh.
But what's wild to me was that that was clickbait, you know?
Yeah.
And then it ended up in court that it, you know, they never did prove it. The other thing that I thought was really interesting, these are my only 2 observations from it, was that after 2021, there's not one negative OnlyFans. I couldn't find one article, and I
Mhm.
thought that was really, really odd, and that means a lot of people aren't touching it, you know? The
Yeah.
one article that I found was in 2022 when he hired, a female CEO, Miss Gone, I think it was Gan, Indian lady,
Mhm.
and it made the news because it was a woman, I guess.
Oh, of course. Stunning
But
and
it
brave.
goes to what you were saying earlier, how a lot of times the women and the friends are the trap, you know,
Mhm.
because people are not expecting that. And
No.
and
Mhm.
that was one of the things I didn't like about the whole 10 steps backwards in the entire community after all that crazy news broke out. I'm friends with Maria Farmer, and she's like one of the big whistleblowers on the Epstein case, and she was one of the people that I think talked to Daily Beast before they had their big
Yeah.
expose on it, and I thought they did a good job. The thing that I don't like is I do believe there's a lot of people in place that are supposedly a charity or supposedly a therapist or whatever, and
Yeah.
they're actually collectors, and
Mhm.
they're getting these girls and or kids, whatever it is, and boys, whatever, and they're redistributing or re-traumatizing them and getting them back out there. Do you know much about that?
I just know about, like, the charities and things like that. I've talked to people in Haiti and over in the Philippines about charities and UN, people that come over there. A lot of those people, well, in Haiti, they don't want that there anymore because every time the US or the UK sends people over there, they get ripped off, abused. Like, this has been going on for so long. Like, if you ask a Haitian about the Clintons,
Right.
they do not they do not like them. Like, the
Yeah,
Clintons fucked them over royally. So did Bill Gates. They made their kids sick with their shitty fake vaccines and oh wait, you can't say that. I mean, they're beautiful and brave vaccines that helped everyone immensely. But all that shit, they don't want it over there at all. And there was I just seen something the other day about UN troops that were abusing women and girls somewhere else too. I just seen that. Where the hell? I don't remember where it is. I read so much
yeah.
stuff every
Well, and
day.
I wasn't even thinking about on the governmental level or on, but they're technically not governments, and
Mhm.
they are charities, and
Yeah,
it
all
is
the time.
frightening, and you just like you said, and this is something that I've learned from working with the Safe House, is that, you know, when you get these girls and you find out who their clients were, it truly is exactly what you were saying. They're the
Mhm.
police officers, they're the sheriffs, they're the, you know, the
Yeah.
pastor, you know, man that, you know, nobody would suspect because he's the big
Mhm.
giver in town or, you know, whatever. And so they are really in a pinch, and it's got so many different hooks, you know?
Yeah.
And
It's
then, like,
disturbing.
I know for the girls that go to the safe house that I work with, they're not allowed to smoke, they're not allowed to have their phones, and those are the 2 main things that
Mhm.
sometimes will be a deal breaker, like, they literally will be like, "I can't do it.
Yeah.
I wish I could, but I know myself, there's no way I could quit smoking, or there's no way I could give up my phone." But just to see how peaceful they are after, there's one that I'm working with right now, and she's gonna graduate soon, and it's so awesome. I mean, she
Yeah.
is so beautiful,
That's
and
always good when that happens, and, like, they definitely need aftercare, and it's like they get rescued, but then they're forgotten again, and you can't just expect them to be fine, like, they need counseling, and they like, to make it better, because if not, then they're gonna fall back into it, or they start doing drugs. There's the first girl I helped, I contacted her mom, like, last year, a couple months ago, almost a year ago, to see, like, what is happening. She actually lives in San Francisco, and she's on the streets doing drugs, so, yeah. Like, she went to San Francisco for that, like, because it
Well,
was
and
easy and
that's the part that's frustrating because, like you said, it is dangerous. You
Mhm.
know, Whenever you're working with somebody and that person is valuable to someone else in a very sick way,
Yeah.
you're interrupting their survival in
Mhm.
their mind.
Yeah, I've
And
gotten
so
to some shit that yeah, I don't know, people probably think I'm crazy, but even at the time, I didn't even think twice about it. I don't know, maybe I just missed
I
that part
think
of my
sometimes
brain.
God covers
I
us
don't know.
until he doesn't. Does that make sense? Because I used to drive into the worst areas of Dallas,
Mhm.
when I was working with the guys at a prison, and I actually felt protected,
Yeah.
rather than the opposite, but I would not go there today. I
Yeah.
absolutely would not go there today. I've
There's
said that
places I
so many
wouldn't go
times.
today, but, like, I don't know, I'm not really scared to go many places. I probably wouldn't just go walk around south of Chicago because I don't know anyone there or anything like that. I mean, I was
Right.
there last year, but I was only there for, like, a little bit, in a shitty neighborhood, but, I mean, I wasn't scared per se, but I don't know, like, things like that. I think I would be no offense if someone lives in a trailer park. I'm not talking about normal people in trailer parks. I'm talking about like the sex offender trailer parks and those weird ones. I would rather walk around the hood at night than ever one of those. Like I'm good. Like I would much
Yeah, I didn't
rather.
even know such a thing existed, right? And
Oh.
that's one of the things too that I also you have such a beautiful spirit. Like we are so different. We would have probably never met had it not been for the
Probably.
anti-trafficking. But
Mhm.
I think you're such a beautiful person. I think the way you care about others, the way
Mhm. Thanks.
you can operate in this world fearlessly. And I also think that you have a future that is going to be bigger and bigger than where it's come from, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't ever know what I'm doing day to day. I just do whatever the day is bringing me, I guess. So I just don't like when people take advantage of people like that,
Yeah.
especially people that are sexually abused are you just mess them up forever. That's why I do not like when maps are like, "Oh, they're non-offending." Well, the statistics say otherwise, and those kids are messed up for forever. You ruin their chance of a normal life forever. So, that's a fact. So, it's not a victimless crime because most of them offend, and that's just a fact. That's not
Yeah.
like they do. So, I don't
Yeah.
know, I don't like that at all. It's you should not
Yeah, I learned
no.
about that when I was working with the guys out of jail because it was the only one that people warned me, stay away from the ones who have been perpetrators of children.
Mhm.
Um, they they have a hard time rehabilitating them,
Yeah,
and a lot
they
of
should not be protected in jail. You let them out amongst the population and let them deal with what they have done. Like, no, don't hide what they've done. No, no, you don't get that.
I have a
Yeah,
friend that's just like you. She's like, "I'm sorry, I'm not gonna feel sorry for them, whatever
no.
happens to them."
Nope. No, a lot of
I
them
guess
do
I
it
always
again and
hope
again
there's
and again, and they still keep letting them out, and they keep doing it again and again, and they don't stop. They don't wanna be rehabilitated. Like
Right.
98% of them. They don't want to. They'll pretend like they do, but the second you get them around your kid, it's they don't care. They cannot control it. Like I have talked to them, I have seen them in action. They can't. They cannot control it. So no matter what they say, it's bullshit. They can't. Like if
Yeah.
you let them in a situation, it's an opportunity, they're going to do it. So rather
Someone
it's
in the chat just
pictures.
said the worst problem in society right now is narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths.
Yeah.
And I do believe that it's not just that. I had an epiphany this morning that it's literally sadistic narcissist, because there's
Mhm.
grandiose versions and, of course, a psychopath and a sociopath is a little bit different, but there's a joy that they get out of absolutely hurting
Yes.
somebody, which is a whole, that's a whole nother show.
They need to, like, I don't know if there is a name for it yet, but people who like to try to punish people online by just destroying them over really nothing. Like, there has to be, like, a word for that because that is a huge thing. The way that they gang up on people that really, like, I know why people were mad at Eliza. If she would have addressed it, good or bad, then it probably would have died down, and if it didn't, I would have told people to fuck off because look, she addressed it. She said she
Right.
was lying or whatever she said, but she never said anything. So that's her fault. Like all your things are out there for people to see.
To see
So
it,
they
yeah.
have questions. But I mean, people really don't do anything. And even if they apologize, they still come at them. And there has to be a name for that because people love it.
We'll
They
put you in
love it.
charge of that. Why don't you think of a good name for it?
Oh my God. Pathetic. That's like they're just, they need stuff to do. Like they need other things in their life besides online and I don't know,
Yeah,
interact with real people so you could see what you're actually doing to people when you do things like this. Everyone
right.
always talks about, "Oh, we don't like problematic people." All they do is make problematic people famous or, be
It's a very
problematic
good point.
themselves.
It's a very good point.
They do. They always say, "Oh, I don't like look at the people we make famous. Bad Baby." Like, are you serious?
Dylan,
She Yeah, like Bad Baby talked to her mom like shit, wanted to beat everyone's ass, and she's like a millionaire now and like this is who you made famous.
I don't even
So,
know who that is, so who is
oh my
that?
god, you don't? She
No.
Danielle Bergoli, she was on an episode of Dr. Phil, the Catch Me Outside girl, that girl. And she got famous for being a shithead to her mother, pretty much.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and this is who they make famous. Like the people on TikTok they make famous. I'm like, you do it. You are making these dumbass people famous.
Yeah.
And then you're going to complain when you find out they're a shitty person. Well, no shit. Like, of course they are.
Yes, yes. I
It's
started a
so
nice
stupid.
mafia. I have some friends that I think are the nicest people I've ever met, and I made them all go to have coffee with me last month because I'm like, I want to have people that are just literally there's no other requirement. You just have to
Mm-mm.
be so kind.
Yeah, it's hard for people these days. It's hard for them to even have a conversation with people face to face
Well, and
anymore.
that was one of the other things I wanted to talk that was a perfect segue for where I wanted to go with next on you. Like, you deal with a lot of people because you have a lot of followers and stuff like that, and you get a lot of attacks, and you are so classy, and you answer the question, like, you just keep it real all the time, and I think that is my attraction to you as far as you just have that bright light that it's
Mm.
just real. 'Cause I
Oh,
I think
thanks.
that's one of the things that I feel like everything lately is gaslit, we've got
Yeah.
the the gaslit education, the gaslit, mental health. We got gaslit everything. And so it's just such a, like, oh, here's a person telling the truth, but also willing to have a discourse that's uncomfortable so that you can get through something with somebody, like two girls
Mhm.
that are mad at each other but they're friends, or two people that are YouTube friends but they crossed, they didn't agree on something, and
Yeah.
so I would love to hear how you got to that place. I mean, have you just always been just real?
Yes. I
Yeah.
can't lie or do like anything I talk about, like, first, I don't need to lie about anything because I guess you could look at it unfortunately or not. Like, I've had so many, I feel like I've lived 10 lives sometimes. And plus, people find out anyway. So I don't have the energy to like think of lies or keep up with them. But I must say, I don't always reply classy. It depends who it is and how
Yeah.
far they're pushing it. Cause I will go off. If they deserve it, then I will do that. But I'd rather people
I
get
haven't seen
along.
it.
What's that?
I said I haven't seen it.
I'd rather oh, I do though. But I mean, they asked for it. It's not like they're being nice and I'm an asshole. It's if you're an asshole first, then sorry, I'm not going to talk to you nice. There's just certain people that they thrive on hate and stuff. They're never going to change their mind no matter what you do because that's what they want. So
Right.
they don't want to hear you out. So those people are just whatever, but I'd rather people get along than not. It's just stupid. We need to like be more united. And I think most people have more in common than they
Yes.
think.
Yes.
So it's just not worth it. They want us fighting and distracted, and so they could just do more messed up shit to us. And I don't want to live in an echo chamber. I don't want people in my life to agree with every single thing that I agree with because that's boring to me. How am I ever going to learn anything or uh, anything new, or how will they? So if we don't, it's the big stuff that matters to me, like don't abuse kids,
Yeah.
freedom, things like that. But mostly other things you can get along. Like you don't have to agree with their entire lifestyle to be friends with them. Or that's what I try
Yeah.
to tell people on the right, like conservatives, because I have an OnlyFans. Okay, I don't do porn. Like I get the porn thing because it's very extreme. I wouldn't do it. I don't even sleep with anyone. I'm basically celibate. Like I've probably slept with way less people than 98% of people, unless you're a virgin, because I'm just not like that. It takes a lot for me to do that with
Yeah.
someone. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I don't care about nudity though. And, we don't have to have every single value to get along or even be friends. It's like not everyone that doesn't live exactly like you is a terrible person. Like that's not the case. But there are people on the right too that thrive off of hate and they like being hateful and they just use religion to do it or whatever else, which is just like the left. So they're the same, but they do that. But that's in every single human. Like that could
Yes.
just happen. And there's
To
just
me, it's a
no,
maturity level, somebody
yeah.
that is able to tolerate. And also, I do think that certain people have different gifts. Some
Hmm.
people are more networkers and they do have that ability to bridge different types of people. And I have always been
Yeah.
that. In high school, I was friends with every clique. Like it
Me
was like,
too. I was
really?
so weird in high school. Oh my God. I was like a goth skater, but lived in the hood. My friends were mostly black. I was on the dance team. I was a cheerleader too. Like I just like went through phases. It was
Yeah.
just bizarre. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. But I
Yeah.
didn't even think about it at the time. But when you look back and how it is clicky, I did not belong anywhere. Like one place. Like
I
I
love
don't know.
having unlikely allies,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
what
It
we
was
are.
really
We're
weird.
unlikely allies. And so
Yeah.
one of the things that I thought was really cool that you said also on one of your tweets was just talking about how, women dismiss each other or they run away from a
Hmm.
conversation that's difficult, and I'm a big believer of it, and I also, share that with a lot of my clients, the ability to have a difficult conversation is usually because you've been able to get to a level of emotional maturity that you're able to hear somebody else's
Hmm.
thoughts and not have it affect your own life.
No, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
understand that, why that is a thing. Just hearing people out, and it doesn't like you don't have to be mad or anything. Like it doesn't have to be your mission to destroy them because they don't think something that you do. It's
Or to
weird.
convert them.
Yeah, I don't want to convert people. Like if you change my mind or I change your mind on something, I mean that's good.
It
But
was like organic.
I'm not gonna force you to, like, to hang out with me or something. Like I said, if it's something like you think kids should be able to change themselves at such a young age, then I'm gonna have a problem with that. And I don't know if I would be friends with you. It depends how much you're really digging into that all the time, but maybe
Right.
I could change their mind about that or something. So it just depends, I guess, on the situation. I
Well,
don't
and too, as we
dismiss
mature,
anyone
we
right
change.
away.
I mean, I am, like, completely different in my beliefs than I was even 5 years ago, you
Mhm.
know, and definitely different than I was in my beliefs when I was, your age, which I'm assuming is somewhere in your late 20s, early 30s. I don't know how old you are, but,
I'm
um
78.
yeah, me too.
That's what I always tell
You're
people,
78 in
78.
soul years.
Yeah, probably like 100.
Well, that's what I was telling somebody, that's what a couple of my guys out of jail have said to me before, 'cause I always ask people what their soul age is, and many of them have, "Oh my god, I feel like I'm 100," I've
Mm,
done so much in my life and
yeah.
a lot of stuff that they regret, but yeah, and so talk to me some more about when you let's say you're hanging out with somebody, it could be a YouTube friend, whatever, if you get into it or has that happened? Have you gotten into any
Mm,
little wars in YouTube and you had to, like, sever the relationship or
no.
yeah, yeah,
No. Not
just
even when we did, like, Content House, like, Brittany Venti's there and Chrissy, and Brittany is a big she doesn't like OnlyFans, she doesn't like porn, but I like her, like, we're friends, like,
yeah.
it's but I'm also not trying to get girls to do it either, I tell them the truth about it, and actually, Lauren Chen made a good video about it today because 'cause I've talked about the same thing she talked about because someone did
I
finally write an
remember
article.
yours, it was very good.
Mine
Yeah, I
or
watched
Lauren's?
yours. I watched
Oh.
the one you did
Yeah.
warning girls, 'cause I and actually, if you could share some of your philosophy about why you would not do an OnlyFans.
Um, I started dancing when I was 18 because I was in a bad home situation. So I knew that I was going to do that. I told my parents, everyone knew. I never tried to hide it because you can't hide it. Like, I don't know why girls, like, they will find out, especially now. That was just dancing in a club. Now you are on the internet forever. And I already have another job. I have a career. I work in oil and gas. So, and they know what I do. Like, I never lied to them. They know that's not always going to be the case if
Was
you
that hard?
try.
I'm so nosy, but was that hard to, do you talk about that in the interview or what
What, oil and gas
but
work?
no, when you told them, you said that they
Oh,
knew?
well, they actually hired me because they seen me on Backpage. Like, they
Oh,
wanted me to do sales because they were like, "We need
oh.
a girl that can, like, be a salesman and, like, get meetings with these oil companies that won't meet with us because 'cause we're men, dirty men." And
Yeah,
I was like, "Alright, I'll do it." And then from there, I just started doing, like, leasing and title and things like that as well.
that's so
Um
cool.
But I would go to, like, all the drill rigs and sell, like, defoamers and things for the drill rigs, but that's how I got involved in it, but a lot of my friends were kind of in it as well already, but that was just very random.
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
but, like, I have a career, like, you have to have something else, and not everyone's gonna be okay with that, especially if you're doing a bunch of weird shit on there, because I'm just naked and stuff, there's no one else, it's just me, I never did anything with anyone else, so
Yeah.
it's just me, and I'll, like, cook and stuff, like, topless and be weird and, like, stuff like that, and I have, like, conspiracy things that I do on there, but you have to have something else, I don't think they realize that, but a huge problem now is, especially on TikTok, girls are lying about how much they make, and this is what Lauren's video was about,
Oh, to
and
kinda cover to make themselves
that
look like
is
it was worth their time or
yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not what they're saying, like, it's not like Belle Delphine, I don't know if you know who that is, but girls like that are the exception. They're not the rule. The rule is around $100 a month if you're lucky, because if you don't have a following already, it's going to be super hard. It's oversaturated as it is. So, but these girls on TikTok they have affiliate codes, which means they'll get money if you sign up through their link. So they're lying. And I know a lot of girls lie because they're not worth as much as they thought that they were, and that's embarrassing, but lying to other girls and then making them feel that way too is not helping, because then they're going to be like, oh, well, I'm a piece of shit too. No one wants to look at me. No one's paying. I'm not making all this money like these girls, but they're not. And I don't like that. Like, you're lying and you're going to make them feel bad. And I talked to several girls on my last TikTok account that they banned, of course. But there was a girl who just turned 18 and she lost her boyfriend. Her mom was mad at her because she wanted to make an OnlyFans, and she made like $50 in a couple months. And that's like over a couple
And
months.
it totally destroyed her life.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like, don't lie to them. Like, it's not like a get rich quick thing. It's a lot of work, and you still have to do the work. You still have to make content. So you're putting your time in, and then you might not get anything back for that time.
Right.
So they lie a lot about it and how it works, and that's not how it works. So that shouldn't be like your first thing you want to do. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just going to do that and I'll be rich. That's not true. It's very rare that
Yeah.
happens. That's not for the majority. Like, I don't make $1 million a month on there. Are you crazy? Like, yeah, right. But
And
yeah.
so I love the that you gave the perfect example of Brittany and you.
Mhm.
I'm more like Brittany, right? So I have very conservative views of it, and really I'm curious, and I think that you're the kind of person that I could ask this, and if you want to pass on the question, go ahead.
I
But
won't.
do you think at all that it contributes to the very thing that you're fighting?
To a point, yeah. I think that it's hard to say that because I don't know that many things that went down that route. Like, I know girls are coerced into doing porn and things like that, but with all the thing, I know it's still out there. It's been out there, and even if it's not on these main websites or anything, it's still gonna exist, because the most dirtiest of the dirty is always going to be kids. So I don't really know how, like, big boob porn stars is that's not what these people want, and they're gonna find what they want regardless. And a lot of girls that are in sex work that I know, they fight against this too. That's what I tell people. It's not really the sex workers you have to worry about. It's more like teachers, priests, people who pretend that they're very moral because that's how they get them. And I don't want kids looking at this stuff. I don't want them looking at me.
Right.
Like, I want anything in place as possible. Because even if you get rid of regular porn as who they're attacking, you're still going to have people making CP. Like, you can get rid of us, the normal porn stars. It's still going to happen because they don't want us. They want
Right.
kids. We're
Yeah.
not kids. So I honestly think the porn that shows girls that are of age, but shows them as children, I don't like that at
That's
all.
that's
I
where it
think that
starts
is a
getting that
problem. It's
slippery
weird.
slope.
It's weird that the girl would do it. I don't understand
They're
it.
doing it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. It's gross.
They're
I
doing it
don't
for a
like it.
reason.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't think they should do it. It's bizarre. I don't like the whole incest thing, and all, like,
Yeah.
it's weird to me that
Yeah.
you would even do that. I don't think any amount of money, there's no way you would ever get me to do porn in general, but I just can't understand that. There's no way I could do that.
Yeah.
I've seen some of it just to see what it is like before I talk shit on it. And some of it is just, there was a girl on a campsite actually who was like, I don't know if I could say this on YouTube, like
Oh,
touching
well, then
herself,
don't.
like touching herself in a public park. There was kids like playing in the back. They weren't watching, but they're there. And I'm
That's
like,
so
what is
creepy.
wrong with you? But she
Yeah.
also would do weird baby talk things, and that is
And that's
disturbing.
another thing, like, I saw on Twitter today, a
It's
guy
weird.
dressed as a baby, like, and he was huge.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that
dude. Dudes used to send me pictures, like, in diapers way back on MySpace, like, randomly. Like, nothing was sexual on there or anything, but they would just send them. It was so weird to me. Like, this has, I guess, like, it
so
been
it's
a
been
thing.
around for a while.
Yeah, but now they're like, "Oh, well, I can be free to
Be
be me."
open
Like,
about
please
it
don't.
because
Like, please do not. do that.
Oh
It's
my
and
gosh.
they are always bigger all the time. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a skinny dude in a diaper in, like,
I
baby
have a
things.
theory about that. It's just my own personal theory, but I do
What?
believe that darkness, tends towards that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's weird, dude. There was,
yeah.
like, a My Strange Addiction, I think it was that, where the dude, he was fat, like, dressed like a baby, and I don't know if it was his wife or his girlfriend who they were both huge, and, like, I don't even know where he found a crib that big to, like, I don't know, or
Probably had
diapers
to
or
make it.
anything, but it is bizarre. It is
So weird.
it's so weird, and that's not even as weird as it sounds, that isn't as disturbing, those 2 adults doing that, as a girl in porn pretending to be a kid. To me, like, you are trying to make people think that you're underage, and I don't know how they do that, and they're, like, fine looking at themselves in the mirror, like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pretend to be a kid today," and they
Yeah.
don't get paid that much, okay? Like, no, I'm sorry.
Has
Even if you
anyone
did get
has
paid a
anyone
lot,
ever has anyone ever tried to talk you out of doing it? Um,
like,
or even, like, someone who is a client of yours or, like, pays for you like, has anyone ever
yeah, yeah. They're like, "You shouldn't do this."
and so who's had the most convincing argument, or, has there never been one that's really made a good argument?
No one ever really wanted me to quit. Even when I've dated, like, one of my ex-boyfriends, I've always had long-term relationships, but I told him immediately, like, "I'm a stripper." Like, this is when I was working in a club. I did quit and I worked for this lawyer for a while, which was honestly worse than working at the strip club. I got hit on more. It was more vile. Like, it was worse to me, honestly. More
Yeah.
degrading because I'm working in an office and you're degrading me like worse than people in the strip club. So I might as well just go work there. They or respect me more. So
I never thought about that before, but
yeah.
that's an interesting comment.
Yeah, all the
Um,
weird vanilla jobs I had, except the oil and gas industry where you would think like men on the rigs and stuff. No, they are cool as hell. They have never made me feel uncomfortable. It was at a lawyer's office where I had the most issues. And yeah, I was like, I'd rather just work
well,
at
that
the
goes
club.
back to what I was saying earlier about liking people who are just real,
Mhm,
and like you said, finding common ground, and I I take a lot of heat for this, honestly. People get frustrated with me, like, "Why do you give this person the time of day?" or "Why do you do this?" But I guess because I feel like the conversations that we could have
mhm.
could be valuable.
Yeah.
And you just never know how you're gonna touch someone's heart and or how they're gonna touch yours,
Mhm,
because there's been so many times where people are like, "Oh, it was so nice of you to help those guys out of jail, but my god, they taught me so much. I really did learn." I mean,
mhm.
honestly, I was very old by the time I learned that men run game on women. I was so naive, like,
Oh
I
my
had
gosh.
no idea that that happened. I'm not kidding because I just guess I assumed everybody was, like me. And I
Mhm.
just would never guess it. What? But they lied? They didn't mean that? Like,
Yeah.
people do that? I grew up in a very nice area, and I married young and
Mhm.
was always very protected, and I never had to deal with anyone manipulating or lying to me.
Yeah, that's good. It's good and bad because then if later in life someone's doing it and you're just so sweet and naive
Yes.
and you're not thinking that, so
Yes.
then that's when they take advantage of people, which is why I will not let people take advantage of someone. Like if I was around you and someone tried and like you were naive, like no.
Oh, I'm not anymore.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, no. I don't think if I wouldn't have been a dancer though and things like that, I never would have gotten involved with trafficking. And just from knowing who I've known and all that, like I have a way different and sometimes better perspective for people. Like I used to work with law enforcement to do stings and things like that as well.
Mhm.
So I just have like a different perspective on it from seeing it so up close and people being comfortable talking to me about it because, "Oh, well, you're a dancer."
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
that's why I think that, like, no matter where somebody is, it's all being orchestrated for the good in some
Mhm.
way. And even some of the worst things that happen to us end up being the best things. And
Yeah.
so you just can't you just really can't judge.
Yeah, you don't see that until much later, but then you're like, "Oh," but I also said that this was so weird. I actually made a video about it because it was, like, a couple months ago, and I said, if I started dating someone and they didn't want me to have OnlyFans anymore and I really liked them, I wouldn't. Like, I would just quit. I don't care about it. Like, it's not worth giving up a relationship for taking pictures online. And the women, were so mad, and I still get comments about it, and it was, like, months ago on my other TikTok, and they still bring it up like, "Oh, he shouldn't want you to do that, and you're stupid if you do," like,
I
really? You're
completely
gonna, like,
disagree. I think
drop a
that's awesome that
relationship
you
for
would do
that?
that. I also thought of a cool show. Maybe someday, Brittany Venti and I will try and talk you out of OnlyFans.
Yeah. It probably wouldn't be that hard. Like, I like doing it. I do it because I want to. I just like being weird, and I don't I don't think being naked is that crazy. I never have though. So to me it's not a big deal, but also I don't care if I quit either.
Yeah,
So it's like I like doing it, but do I need to do it? No. That's
yeah.
why I think girls need to have a backup and really think about doing it because it's way different now. You have all your stuff out here online forever. Forever. Like I already have a career and stuff. These girls, they won't, and they might not because of it depends what they wanna do, but, like, I know girls that I dance with that are teachers, they have practices, they're doctors, but now, like, my one friend who's a teacher, there's no way. No, I guess they do still fire teachers for having OnlyFans, right? That's still a thing that
I've seen a
happens, I
few,
think.
yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
them
for
fired.
now. But I
Yeah.
mean, she wouldn't be able to get a job if she would have been all over the internet like that, but she danced in a club, went home, and, went to school. Now they're gonna know. Like, they didn't know, but now they're gonna know because you're putting yourself everywhere, and they're gonna find out. They're very naive
Well,
thinking
and that's another
no
thing
one
that
will
kind of
know.
makes me mad too, are the ones who willingly did so, but then they start blaming, other people as being trafficked,
Yeah, that's
or,
bullshit.
they're trying to cover for their choices.
Mhm.
Um, and I would just say I feel like people can tell the difference, and you should be careful before you lie,
Yeah.
because you're losing respect, you're and it's like you said about Eliza Blue. If she would've just come out and said blah, 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 or whatever,
Yeah.
um,
I
people
don't
could
get
just
it.
make their choices from there, like, "Okay, I forgive her, it's not that bad." And I think that was part of the problem too, like, a lot of people are like, "Why would she lie about that? It's not even that bad," you know?
Exactly. I have no Well, see, a thing with that was people are like, "Oh, but she still does good work." What work? I've asked, "What?" All I've seen is she got awards and the Twitter thing, which it's still up. Like an open secret, I do know who that is on
Mm-mm,
Twitter. They
mm.
did like a documentary. It's called An Open Secret, but they called her out like in 2020 like about the CP thing with Elon Musk, like that wasn't true. It's still up. It still was. I don't know, but that was her claim to fame, but it actually never happened. So when people kept saying, "But she still does good work, so who cares?" What work?
Wow.
What? They couldn't even show when she got that one award like while this was going on. They didn't have a highlight reel to show of her work.
Well, it's
So,
kind of a tricky deal because that's what I was saying about how it's also multi-layered and there's so many hooks and stuff.
yeah.
Well, you
I wouldn't
you
be
can use
accepting
the
any damn
fact.
awards, that's for sure. I
Yeah.
don't want that. I don't want recognized for that. I just wanna help truly. If anyone, the women that went through it should be up there, not me. Like, I'm not gonna do that shit. Like,
Right.
no, I just can't even imagine doing that. I don't want no recognition for it. I do it because I want to, and I just wanna share things with people that I've seen so they can be aware, especially if they have kids, because it's pretty
But that's the
crazy
other
out
thing
here.
too. I was thinking about while you were saying that, literally the very frustrating thing about it is such a private thing. It is something that some
Mhm.
people aren't ready to talk about. And so they can always use that as a shield.
Yeah, I know.
And
Mhm.
it's used over and over again. And so to
Yeah, but if
me,
you're in the public like
that's where I
that,
was. Yeah.
you can't, because you have to, like, I tell when I'm talking to a girl at first, like, I tell her about when I was raped, because that's how I lost my virginity. Like, I share that with her because it's something that, we have in common, or, like, it's something like, "Hey, you could talk to me. I'll tell you about myself." So, if you're gonna bond with someone like that, you have to share. You don't share anything. So, I don't really understand that. Like, if you wanna be a public, you don't have to go into the gritty details, but you don't share anything. Like, so how are people going to connect with you and relate to, what happened to you and to them, if you're not going to be open about it and you want to be a public figure about it? So that kind of goes with the territory.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's
Yeah.
just bizarre to me. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I met you through that. I'm glad I met Chrissy. I really like all of the girls on Simcast. I watch it now,
oh,
and
that's
it's
cool.
horrible because I want to go to bed earlier than
I
that.
know. It goes for a while. Sometimes it'll go for, like, 6 hours. I think we were on
Oh,
there one
wow,
time.
I never knew that. So I got
Yeah.
off the other day, I got off at, like, 11:50 because I didn't know how long they went, and then everyone got off in, like, 10 minutes. I was like, "Oh, they get off at midnight." So I guess I could have made it to midnight.
Yeah, they do sometimes. I guess it depends what's going on, but, like, the one time we got off and it was, like, 3:30 in the morning, I was like, "Oh my god, I still gotta get a shower." I was like, "This is ass." So now when I'm on there, I have to make sure I wash my hair the day before so I don't have to, like, wash and dry my hair on a Sunday, because 'cause I'm like, I can't do it."
You're such a good friend. That's awesome, I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming
Oh,
here.
thanks for having
Thank
me.
you for helping the girls that you've helped, or the children,
Well, you do too, so it's good when anyone does anything, even just talking about it or sharing things on social media, like charities that are for real, which is, I know it's very hard to find them.
Yes, and that
Um,
reminds me, I'm so glad you said that. Bocce's Place, which is, the one that I watched her for. I've told people this so many times, but I've watched her for years. She really did, everything out of their family pocket. They're just amazing.
is that the one that you shared before on Twitter that I retweeted? Because I think
Yes,
I
thank
retweet
you,
okay,
thank
that one.
you, and they've raised, I think they've raised 30,000 of the 50,000, so they're so close.
Cool.
But, they're I really did vet them, and I work with them actively, and they're amazing, and what they do, it just when you see these women start believing in themselves and ready to go mainstream and to
Mhm.
in some cases get their children back, and it's gonna make me cry. But it's just so awesome, and so they are doing a raise. If you go to Bocce's Place, or it's just bocce's.org, they're gonna have it's right on the front page, and you can click the button and be a part of, I think it's on. I've never heard of it before, like Give Butter. Have
Me
you heard of it?
neither. Is it like
Yeah.
a Give, Send, Go,
They
or
they
GoFundMe?
must take less money, or
Yeah.
maybe it's for charities or something, I
Well,
don't know.
GoFundMe sucks. They, like, shut down all those truckers things, and I don't like
Horrible.
them at all.
Horrible. I agree, and there's a lot of people that won't give to them because of that.
No.
And so there's another one too, Give, Send, Go.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
I
a
don't
lot.
think they did anything, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought I don't know.
there's people that have been like, "I'm sorry, I can't give to GoFundMe, but if it's
Yeah.
Give, Send, Go, I'll do it."
Yeah.
So, do you wanna tell people where they could find you or anything that you have going on?
Just Twitter is usually what I do. I do have a Rumble channel now. Everything is like LeeAnn Star, LeeAnn Star 23. I need to upload more on there, but I'm probably gonna go live on there sometimes
Good, you
just to
should.
see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I have Instagram, but I hate Instagram. It's like
Yeah.
worthless. It's all bots. I don't think there's any humans on there
Oh,
anymore. I
that's
really don't.
interesting.
It's crazy. But I'm
Twitter's for
on
sure my
there.
fave. For
Hmm?
sure Twitter's for sure my favorite.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know why, I just always
Instagram is
liked it from the beginning.
Yeah, me too.
I've been on there forever. And you know what's interesting is the people that I interact with on Twitter are like people I don't know, like you or Chrissy
Mhm.
or Lila, or all these people that I've met in past years. And then I've got tons of people on Facebook, and I had to literally get off of it during Stupid 19 because I was like, this is just I
I
hated
haven't been on
watching people
Facebook
tear
in
each other
so long.
apart. Like, and they're
Yeah.
people I like, and same conversation we're having now. Why
Oh, I
can't
know.
somebody that completely disagrees just, you know, that that girl doesn't agree, just leave it alone? Like, why do you
Yeah,
have to
no, who
attack them?
cares? I can't believe people aren't friends over this stuff. Like, they picked a pharmaceutical company over their family and friends. It's crazy to me. I'm like, "What is happening right now?"
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, that
Yeah.
made me think of something else. There was some other thing about OnlyFans that I was gonna just share with you, and I just freaking lost it. Oh, it had something to do with, oh, well. Oh, I know what it was, about
What?
finding you. So, I heard that one of the articles that I read was that, OnlyFans started putting all of their stars on terrorist blacklists because
What?
they didn't want people to be able to find them. And I
Huh.
promise you, if I look you up on Twitter even, you do
Mhm.
not propagate.
Oh, I know. It's been like that for a long time now. I've been shadow banned before, like, 2017-ish is when it started happening. I don't really know
So it makes me wonder
why.
if you're not on that terrorist blacklist for, you
Probably
know.
not. I'm probably not, like, in a top thing on OnlyFans,
Oh, okay,
so,
okay.
yeah, I'm not, like, a millionaire from OnlyFans or anything. That's what I mean, like, I like doing it, but I don't need to do it, like, I
Yeah.
mean,
So
so, yeah,
maybe
but that's
you'll let
crazy.
Brittany and I talk you out of it one day.
Yeah, like, I just
If
it's
anyone could handle her and I trying to talk you out of something, it would be you.
yeah. Exactly.
The tough
But, I mean,
one,
it's alright, I don't know.
not like her. She's just like, "Just this is it,
Yeah.
sticking with it," and I admire it because she knows her stuff. Like, she doesn't just believe something. She has,
Mhm.
like, her whole PowerPoint behind it,
Yep. Yep,
which
you
is
have to
very
now because
cool.
people just always question your motives or what you know. You gotta source. I'm like, "You accepted anonymous sources the entire time Trump was president, so please, don't start
Yeah.
now. Source." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Even if you give it to them, it doesn't matter. So,
Yeah, yeah. So I just thought it weird, and then I tried to find you on Instagram too, because I was just gonna look up what your tag name was so I could put it on here, which I forgot to do. But,
no, it's
I never did find you on Instagram. I never did
yeah,
find you.
it's all LeeAnn Star 23. I don't know if I'm definitely shadow banned on Instagram, but I haven't tried to search myself on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But that's why I didn't use
Yeah.
Instagram for a while. But people are like, "Oh, you should just post on it." But like I've been shadow banned on there for so long. Like the only reason why I
Yeah.
have my account is because I knew someone that worked for them like 2, 3 years ago when they banned my account for no reason. I didn't do anything. But he got it back up for me, but ever since then, as soon as he left, he didn't get fired, but he left, my shit has shadow banned again on there. So I don't really care about
Yeah.
Instagram, but I post on it, but they suck, man. They shadow ban everyone. I mean everyone. Even
Yeah.
fat women that were posting like bikini pictures, like not doing it for OnlyFans or something, like for magazines, like they were selling it like a catalog. They were being shadow
Oh,
banned, deleted because like they have this thing where it scans
they're
for skin.
aesthetic. It's
Yeah,
called
no, for
aesthetic.
skin. It's a skin scanner to
Oh,
see how much skin someone is showing in a picture. So because they were so big, it was thinking that they were naked or
showing too
whatever.
much
So
skin.
all of these plus size girls were getting deleted and shit because of
Oh
it.
my gosh.
Like they're weird AI. It's so weird. It's
This is
reading
where this is
skin.
where AI is such a fail, and they
And it's
brag
so
about it like
weird,
it's ready
dude.
to turn out and just change the world tomorrow, and it just keeps failing. But
Yeah, I'm like, do they not watch Terminator? Like, they never seen that or what? Like, oh my god, it's a bad choice,
yeah.
but
Well,
whatever.
thank you for coming
Oh, thank you for having
and
me.
have a beautiful weekend. And I hope
Thanks, you
everybody else
too.
has a beautiful weekend. Thanks for coming to visit us. And for anybody that's interested, Amanda Byes will be here for part 3 on Sunday of the Disembodied Spirits and the Silver Chords. So we'll see you guys on Sunday. Bye.
Bye.